I hate you, dude. I didn't do anything. Before the season, you said you thought Scrivens would play and be fine. Yeah, so what are you talking about? You see him play in the third? You see him play in overtime? He was fine. Yeah, but the main reason he's even in net is because Reimer's hurt, and therefore you hurt James Reimer. And then, yes, please do.
What a great goal.
Dude. Crazy throwing waffles. Woo. Who are you?
Optimus Prime.
Can you maybe not say I'm the one who hurt James Reimer? I kind of want to walk around Leafs Nation and not get punched in the face. He hurt James Reimer. He did it. He's great. Don't be. Leafs lose 3-2 in the shootout to the Phoenix Coyotes. And that sucks severely because the Leafs have been losing a lot lately. But, and I'm going to talk about this after I talk about the game, not that bothered. Stick around for the whole video and I'll tell you why the Leafs aren't screwed. Good news in Leafs Nation! Hey, take a picture. Now after the first period, it sure did look like the Leafs were screwed. Phaneuf blows a tire, Carl Gunnarsson and Ben Scrivens are like, really? Doan Potts his fifth, and that's just a minute 54 into the game. Theory on winning more games? Don't let that happen. And it's not like Phaneuf meant to blow a tire, but welcome to what it's been like for the Leafs recently. Especially at the ACC. Last few games the team looked dead and the place sounded like a morgue. Shortly after, just over 5 minutes in, Oliver Ekman-Larsson just puts one on net. Scrivens had a good game overall, but he wants that one back. And the Leafs are down 2-0 after 1. And 2, because the Coyote system is great, Dave Tippett is great, and Mike Smith was great. Question, when did Mike Smith turn into the goalie Tampa thought they were trading for when they gave Dallas Brad Richards? He's been sick. And for a team a lot of people expected to finish in like the bottom 5 after losing Brizgalov, Phoenix is great. I don't know, Smith should get the credit, the coaching staff, Dave Tippett, whatever, they're winning games. But finally, the third period, life. And early in the period too, so key. Not to be confused with Sochi, where they're going to be hosting the next Winter Olympics and Canada's going to win gold again. What? Nothing, let's continue. Crab and Lombardi mucking it up in front, and guess who's home to bang in his first of the season? Mike Komisarek, that sniper! Puts the Leafs on the board, and was it pretty? No. Did it count? Yes. And Komisarek's decent season continues. Although Luke Schenn, 20 minutes and 38 seconds in this game. Pretty good. Next up, Leafs tie it up, and if we're going to get on Scrivens, we might as well get on Mike Smith for this. Kuhlman with the shot, the rebound goes directly to the league's leading scorer in Phil Kessel. Potts it, and look how thrilled Brian Burke is. The Leafs have tied the game. Burke's like, hey Turco, you like that goal? Smiley face. And the game goes to the shootout, but before that, there's overtime, and I want to talk about something. For a Francois Allaire goalie, and apparently they can't catch, Ben Scrivens catches a lot. Look at this. Here we go. Gotcha. Oh, and then he lets it go. Oh, why'd you do that? Should have maybe held on to that. Kind of creates a mess for himself. But look what he does. No, you can't score me. You can't score. Mine. Give me your lunch money. And then the standing O for Scrivens. And I know this still isn't the case with a lot of Leafs Nation, but you're starting to see this trust slowly build up in Ben Scrivens. Because I don't know if you know this or not, until Reimer gets back, and who the hell knows when that's going to be, Scrivens is the guy. The Leafs are rumored to be getting an experienced goalie. They've already ruled out Marty Turco, and just getting a goalie would be a panic move. A panic move that very few people would blame Burke for. But something like that is not exactly typical of Burke. But what I'm getting at is the fans and the team are starting to have more faith in Scrivens, and good, because he's going to be here for a bit. And more importantly, Scrivens is giving them a reason to have faith in him. Now, I'm going to skim over the shootout because the Leafs lost. One thing I want to talk about is Nikolai Kuhlman in the shootout, and this is where I know I don't have all the answers. When I heard Kuhlman was getting put in, my first instinct was, why? He's got 2 goals on the season. And he stopped. But here's the other thinking I had on that. Kuhlman had 30 goals last season. Grabowski and MacArthur both left the game with an injury, so the offensive trouble the Leafs are having could get worse. And if you put Kuhlman in the shootout, he scores, and the Leafs win, you could reignite one of the Leafs' best offensive weapons. That's not what happened, but I can appreciate the reasoning and the effort. Now, let me address the fact that the sky is falling. 5 straight games now, the Leafs have failed to score more than 2 goals in a game. Last time they did was against Columbus, and at least 3 of those goals sucked. After opening the season 7-2-1, the Leafs are 3-4-1. Despite how bad the Leafs have been lately, that's a record of 10-6-2. That's still pretty good. Now, it's dropping, obviously, but at 7-2-1, you might have expected that. And Leafs Nation's dying for a playoff spot, but you don't need to play at that 7-2-1 craziness to get that spot. I'm going to put up a big, fancy, expensive graphic for you, and by that, I mean something I wrote on a post-it note. In 05-06, Tampa Bay got 8th place with 92 points. 06-07, Islanders 92. 07-08, Boston 94. 08-09, Montreal 93. 9-10, Montreal 88. And 10-11, that's last year, Rangers 93. The number you're seeing beside the amount of points they got is the amount of wins. Therefore, since the end of the lockout, you need an average of exactly 92 points to get 8th place in the East and 41.3 wins, which is impossible. After 18 games played, the Leafs have 64 games left. Now I'm pulling a random number out, and yes, it is an optimistic one, but let's say the Leafs go 33, 27, and 4 over the rest of the season. That's assuming the Leafs will be above 500 for the rest of the season. Yeah, that's optimistic, but that's not a crazy optimism. At 33, 27, and 4, they're barely above 500 pretty much. Combine that with the 10, 6, and 2 record the Leafs already got. That should give the Leafs a 43, 33, and 6 record at the end of the season. That gives them 92 points and 43 wins. 2 of the 6 years since the lockout, that would get the Leafs in the playoffs. In 3 of those years, it wouldn't, and in 1, it would tie them for 8. Now, this is all 9 billion trillion% hypothetical, but all I'm saying is the Leafs need to go about 33, 27, and 4, something like that for the rest of the season. If they can do something like that or better, hey, they might just make the playoffs. And if they can't, well, don't deserve to be there. Against Phoenix, they managed to pull out 1 point in the standings when it looked like they were going to get none. But one last thing, stop looking at the bonus point like it's a bonus point. Last season, the Leafs lost 11 games in overtime or the shootout, and the 8th place New York Rangers lost 5. Getting that pity point's better than nothing, but you gotta start winning those extra time games. And that's all I'm gonna say for this one. It's an 82 game season, and you're going to lose some games. And this game against the Coyotes was a loss, as opposed to the losses that happened against Boston and Florida, which I would classify more as an assassination. So question of the game, I said the Leafs need to go at least 33, 27, and 4 for the rest of the season. Is that reasonable? And now this is the part where I tell you to add me to Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Tumblr, all that stuff. But donate to my Movember team. And here's the thing, donations this year have sucked. And to help that out, I'm not going to get too specific, but if you donate to the link that I'm putting under here, there might be something in it for you. Tell you what, I'll tell you what it is before the video cuts off. I'm gonna